Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to our beloved lecturer Sir Azmi Anan and our fellow classmates. Thank you for joining us on our last presentation of the semester on the topic of school management. These are your presenters for today, Ridina Inani binti Walid, Zarif Hawani binti Hussein, Nur Naziha binti Yusuf, and me myself, Noor Azaruddin binti Yusuf. Let's begin. For today's topic, school management, we will tackle 4 subtopics, which is posting and distribution will be presented by me, Nur Azaruddin, optionist versus non-optionist by Nur Naziha, and then efficiency and management by Zarif Hawani, and last but not least, leadership and management by Irdina Inani. We begin our presentation with the issue of posting and distribution. Now, the issue of posting and distribution is not entirely a new issue. It is a common and the longest issue we have heard since we were in primary school. Because we often heard that there are too many teachers out there. In fact, the MOE themselves has released yearly research called Quick Facts. It's a Malaysia Educational Statistics Studies to update the number of teachers each year. So as of 2019, 31st January 2019, the total number of teachers in Malaysia for preschool, primary and secondary school are total up to 419,782. Now bear in mind, within that large number, there are still a high case of unemployment rates among graduate teachers. This is because in spite of hiring, there is not enough ability to hire all the applicants. For the case of 2019, it was reported by Bernama that out of 20,000 applicants for graduate teachers, only 5,000 are called for interviews, and out of those 5,000, only 3,000 were managed to secure a permanent position in schools. So that's a tough competition. The current issue regarding this topic is that, according to Bernama 2020, government seeks to reduce the teacher-student ratio. Instead of 1 teacher to 30-35 that are we currently practicing, it will be to 1 teacher to 20-25 students, which in fact will, in long term, will be a good change for teacher, for better management, for better class management, time management, student management, everything. However, this in fact bring a new issue, which is that there will be no vacancy for other teachers because the government seeks to execute another plan, which is to produce more STEM teachers. There will be an excess of STEM teachers instead of art teachers or humanity teachers, for example, because according to the minister himself, reported in Bernama 2020, is that they believe that the government see no need to produce a lot number of geography teacher, for example. So for them, the distribution of teachers should be focused on STEM teachers, which in fact lead to another issue, which is that there will be internal recruitments and it will lead to non-optionist teachers. This is a major issue in which it not only give pressure to the teacher to teach subjects they are not familiar with, but also more workload. Furthermore, it is also reported by Bernama that there's an interview conducted among few applicants of teacher graduates that are already finished, that have graduated from their college or institution, that are still waiting for employment and interviews from schools and the JPN themselves. This is why it is quite alarming to understand that despite the large number of applicants and student teachers in the university, there are not a lot of options for teachers available as of now. Moving on to internal recruitment. What is internal recruitment? Now, according to a research by Syed Muhammad Abadillah Syed Hussein, a researcher in University Malaysia Pahang, described internal recruitment as a, a a plan to seek candidates from among those who are already on the payroll within the organization, meaning that they already work there. For example, a teacher that has experience of 50 long years in the school. So instead of hiring a new teacher, they just appoint that teacher with a new responsibility and give them more tasks and more subjects to teach. So that would be internal recruitment. So these internal recruitments lead to be teachers to be non-optionist teachers. For example, the advantages could be that because these teachers have a very standing reputation in the school or organization, they are more more preferred and they are more, how to say, reliable than the new teachers. So this is why the advantages to see that they for the school administration may seem that the teachers can utilize their experience, their knowledge to teach other subjects than their main major and core subjects. And also it's advantageous for them to see that perhaps it's such an it can be seen as if they were given a promotion. So now instead of teaching one subject, they're teaching two. So they are perhaps giving more access to laboratories or giving entrusted with a lab. So and other school utilities. And last but not least, school administrators believe that internal recruitment is better than external recruitment because the employee is reliable, as I mentioned earlier. So that's one of the advantages of non-optionist teacher. Before we delve more into the discussion of non-optionist teacher, let's first go back and understand the definition of what is an optionist and non-optionist teacher. Now, optionist teachers are teachers that teach based on their selected major in their qualification, meaning that they have gone through a certain amount of training for that specific subject. Now, the advantages of hiring these said teachers is that they are well prepared and they have done much more research in their training years before they proceed with a lesson. And other than that, they are more committed to the field. This is because they are doing it out of their passion. It's something that they have built their affection and love and admiration towards it. Next is because they are more passionate on the teaching on the subject, they will be more passionate on teaching and committed to deliver the lesson to the students. And last but not least, based on all of this, they will reflect their educational beliefs and ideals based on what they have learned within their training period. However, for optionists, for non-optionists, sorry, is teachers that teach subjects that are not qualified to teach or out of their field of expertise. For example, like teachers that are majored in history are given the task to teach Bahasa Melayu or pendidikan moral or pendidikan civic. Mostly it will be along line the humanities department or perhaps even a chemistry teacher given the opportunities to teach mathematics. So these teachers have no required training for the specific subject. So instead of teaching something they know, they have to teach something that are out of their field of expertise. Now to discuss more on non-options, I will pass over the presentation to my fellow presenter, Nurul Najiha.
We are going to look also at the definition stated by McCurney and Prince in 2009 that describes the term optionist or out-of-field teaching refers to the practice of teaching in a subject, field, or level of schooling for which a teacher has neither a major or minor tertiary qualification. Concerning this matter, there were two practical issues in relation to the teaching emerged, especially on the aspect of having not enough teachers for all subjects in schools. Since there were not enough or shortage of education graduates to fill this need, teachers unqualified on the subjects had to be assigned to many classrooms. The great concern is on how this temporary solution eventually leads to a lowering of standards in the teaching. The National Education Blueprint aims to provide higher quality and better trained teachers in Malaysian schools. Sadly, we have yet to properly address on the issue of how unqualified non-optionist teachers are being tasked with teaching beyond their area of expertise for so long. So, various studies has been conducted related to the efficiency of having non-optionist teachers to teach the core subjects in middle and high schools, mainly in United States, Australia, and Ireland. In Malaysia, a research study was conducted in 2003 until 2005 under Ministry of Education that collaborated with Intensified Research in Priority Areas IRPA, involving 401 teachers in their novice teaching years, following the completion of their teaching education program. The results shows that most of the teachers who were being tasked with teaching the core subjects are the non-optionists. For example, the study conducted shows that out of 17 respondents among history teachers, only 5 of them had majored in history, while the rest of them are non-optionists. The study also highlights that most non-optionist teachers teach mostly core subjects and based on the state textbooks only. This eventually results in students' difficulties in answering examination questions, since standardized examination includes critical thinking elements which are less likely to be integrated in strictly textbook-based lesson. Next, we are going to cover on the aspect of advantages and disadvantages of being a non-optionist teacher. Starting from the advantages of being a non-optionist, the first one shall be on to be able to relate the subject with their area of expertise. For example, a history teacher who is tasked with teaching English could include a brief history of a place related to the literary work. The next one shall be the opportunity for the non-optionist teacher to gain additional knowledge to deliver the lesson. One way or another, it helps to widen their expertise and able to gain new perspective of the subject matter. This has been proven to be beneficial for teaching and learning process. They gain more insights on the subjects that they were tasked to teach. They will be entrusted with more classes due to having the credibility and proficiency of teaching outside their specialism recognized. Other than that, they will be able to develop competency as a skilled teacher and colleague in terms of multitasking, efficient time management, and also flexibility in adapting and adapting to new syllabus. Somehow, I also noticed that most of the non-optionist teachers are able to relate to their students better in terms of grasping the new knowledge. This is because in order to teach something not within their area of specialism, they need to learn and understand the concept and able to apply to it. Lastly, they need to teach people as well. For the disadvantages, the non-optionist teachers might need to face the issue of experimenting with a variety of teaching aids and also to familiarize with the concepts before being able to deliver the lesson effectively and efficiently. So, most of the time, they need to do the trial and error method before discovering the best method for them to teach. Remember, the teaching method of the lesson differs for each subject. Next, it also takes longer time for the non-optionist teachers to adopt and adapt and utilize the best teaching methods. We have to take the factor of time constraint into consideration. one shall be on having to rebuild their confidence. This is due to them having to teach outside their area of expertise. Hence, they are lacking in belief in their own ability to deliver their lesson, mostly due to lack of subject knowledge and experience. It might take some time for them to establish the confidence as well. Lastly, they might have lesser time to focus on understanding students' needs and interests. They are teaching something that they don't have the passion yet. Hence, the teaching and learning process could become very straightforward and dry, which eventually will bore the students. Next, we will also go through the challenges faced by the non-optionist teachers. First, the first one is on how they need to familiarize with new terms and its functions. This is due to the need of having to learn new terms to be incorporated or integrated within the new subject they are going to teach. Second, they might have to face the reality of having a short amount of preparation time. Non-optionist teachers need to teach something relatively new, and they need to learn it fast in order to teach. Hence, it is understandable if the teachers felt overwhelmed and slow or not being able to have deep understanding of the subjects they are supposed to teach right away. So, we have also come up with few suggestions on how to improve the teaching and learning delivery in the classroom for the non-optionist teachers. The first one is for them to plan carefully for the course. They can begin with looking for a few syllabi of the subject through online sources or elsewhere. They could also ask for some help from the senior teachers specialized in that subject to assist them. Next, it is quite similar to the first suggestion, which is to talk to at least one expert in the field to learn about important themes as well as to identify common misconceptions of the new subject. Third, the non-optionist teachers can start with a topic that you are more familiar with. Then they could also employ some active learning techniques to engage students and to encourage them to take a responsibility for their own learning. And lastly, they need to build flexibility into the syllabus, not to be too fixated on the textbook, and to integrate new and fresh elements to make the teaching and learning process fun, enjoyable, and engaging. The non-optionist teachers are required to establish their credibility. The best way for it is to always be on your guard and to expect the unexpected. After all, you are dealing with something entirely new. Hence, the teachers can start with the preparation to explain confusing or difficult topics clearly and in more than one way. And how to do that, you might ask? It's by doing all the course reading in advance and slowly but firmly to be familiar with the subject. Next, the non-optionist teachers might also need to learn on how to address the questions appropriately and have ways of admitting to the students that you may not know the answer to their questions at the moment being, but you will get back and address to them with the correct and appropriate answer later on. It is also essential for teachers, be it you are an optionist or non-optionist teachers, to manage your time wisely. You can begin doing so by reframing your role in the classroom so you don't have to feel that you hold the key to all the knowledge. Next, you can opt to reuse quality materials developed for the same subject in the past. You can adapt and also improvise it by incorporating something new in it, as long as you can get your points across and comfortable while doing it. This is why it is important for you to be able to transfer relevant materials from previous subjects you have taught. Then, It is also important in order to use your time wisely by familiarizing yourself with subject readings before the subject itself and then every time before each class. Remember, for the non-optionist teachers, it is important for you guys to aim for quality instead of quantity. Lastly, the non-optionist teachers should also avoid underestimating the amount of time it takes to prepare for each lesson. Do not procrastinate in attempt at covering the lesson at the last minute or worse, spontaneously, as it might backfire on you. Instead, take your time to go through the materials and understand them carefully. Non-optionist teachers should also be more considerate to the students by not assigning too many works. So I guess that is all for my part. Thank you.
Next station, efficiency in school management. Hi, my name is Zaid Hawani, and today I'm going to present about efficiency in school management. So today, we're going to talk about efficiency in school management in high-performing school in Malaysia. So first of all, what is high-performing school? High-performing school or sekolah berprestasi tinggi is a prestigious title conferred to a group of schools in Malaysia that have ethos, character, and a unique identity to excel in all aspects of education. The schools have a tradition of high culture and excellent work with the national human capital and continuing to grow holistically and are competitive in the international arena. So we are going to talk about two high-performing schools in Malaysia, which is the first one is SBP. Sekolah Berasrama Penuh or Fully Residential School is a school system established in Malaysia to nurture outstanding students to excel in academics and extracurricular activities. And the second one is MRSM. The Mara Junior Science College or Maktab Rendah Sains Mara is a group of boarding schools created by Majlis Amanah Rakyat or MARA. This institution provides learning facilities for bright students in local schools throughout Malaysia. So, what makes an efficient high-performing school? So first of all, the high-performing school principals are involved in school planning, program implementation, supervisions and monitoring, especially in human resource management, curriculum, co-curriculum, staff development, finance, environment, and etc. According to Hussein 2008, in creating an outstanding school management, the successful principal activities include planning, implementation, directing, and monitoring. So, the principals had the knowledge, skills, and expertise in managing aspects of high performance work, systems, curriculum, co curriculum, financial, and discipline management. Next, here is the model of high-performing school leadership practices in Malaysia. First of all, the effective principals set the direction by identifying and articulating a school vision, framing and communicating school goals, creating high-performance expectations, and motivating others through creating purpose. The principles ensured all citizens share and understand the vision clearly. They accepted responsibility and accountability for promoting and achieving the vision and mission. There were several strategies used by the principals for communicating the mission and vision of the school to the staff, students, and parents. They practiced open doors policies, effective staff meetings, built leadership teams, had two-way communication, issued bulletins and newsletters, communicated through school websites, Facebook, WhatsApp, and by being visible. They were capable to develop strategies to increase school performance, to analyze and to understand the internal and external context of schools and acted as planned. The principals took responsibility for their personnel, staff, and school performances. They improved themselves by acquiring new and useful knowledge and skills. They were proactive, committed, creative, think out of box, and they had skills to develop their subordinates. Among the strategies used by the principals for developing subordinates were: the first one is stimulate intellects. The principals encourage teachers to attend courses or seminars, further their studies, and apply to become excellent teachers. They also encourage the teachers and staff to make self-reflection and finding solutions for the improvement of the existing practices. The second one, they offer individual support. The principals practiced an open door policy and provided moral support and ideas. The third one is professional development. They had the knowledge and skills to develop subordinates in the professional development program in a regular basis and effectively. They organized an effective professional development program such as in-service training, talks, or workshops related to instructional process, transformation of high-performing school, action, research, ICT, and Frog VLE, and also a benchmarking visit to schools located in and outside the country. The fourth one is positive values and belief. The principals were proactive, thoughtful, charismatic, accountable, visionary, creative, reflective, patient, honest, sincere, trustworthy, inspiring, punctual, and firm, but loving. They emphasize the values and belief in their work and daily life. They were religious, and any actions in leading the school guided by the teachings of Islam. These positive values and practices made them accessible and to be a great model to their subordinates. Next, redesigning the organization. Principals must have knowledge and expertise to manage the organization and to structure the organization with the needs and the change of times. The principals did not make any changes in the existing organization structure, but they encouraged the school citizen to adopt an excellent and creative culture, create a collaborative culture, ensure secure environment, create good relationships internal and externally, create networks with school and higher education institutions within and outside Malaysia, and also make decisions collaboratively. The next point is managing the instructional process and program. The principals understood and applied the characteristics of instructional effectiveness in the management of the instructional program. According to Hellinger 2003, he stated that one of the three factors that correlated with successful principals is managing the instructional program. The principals took the responsibility to supervise and evaluate the classroom instruction, to coordinate the curriculum, to appoint the right staff for the right subjects, to provide resources, to manage the committees, and to monitor the students' progress. They frequently measure academic student progress through a variety of assessment procedures. Last but not least is managing high-performance management aspects. The successful principals are effective leaders and managers. In creating an outstanding school management, the successful principal activities include planning, implementation, directing, and monitoring. The principals surveyed are involved in school planning, program implementation, supervision, and monitoring, especially in human resource management, curriculum, co-curriculum, staff development, finance, environment, and etc. They had the knowledge, skills, and expertise in managing aspects of high-performance work systems, curriculum, co-curriculum, financial, and also discipline management. In conclusion, successful principals are effective leaders and managers. The main factor that led to the achievement of the high performing school is the leadership of the principal or headmasters. Leadership is both a process and behavior in which a leader applies certain actions to influence others to work on a voluntary basis and in team towards achieving the vision of the organization. Based on the characteristics of high-performing school, the most dominant leadership style among principals of successful high-performance school is transformational leadership, according to Lakewood 2007. It is a must for the school leaders to practice the best and excellent leadership in order to achieve a successful school and help to put Malaysia on world-class standards of education.
Hello everyone, I'm Irina Inani binti Wahid. I will be presenting on leadership and management issues. So let's get started.
We are going to take a look on the leadership issue, the management issues, and how to overcome these issues.
Now we are going to look on the leadership issues, which is the education departments from teachers, parents, as well as students. First, we are going to look on the introduction of the leadership as well as management. So, according to Bush 2010, there is a great interest in educational leadership because of the belief that the quality of leadership makes a significant difference to school and student outcomes. Not only that, it is evidence that schools require effective leaders and managers if they are to achieve success and provide a world-class education for their learners. The education department's issues are teachers are asked to attend courses during holidays with a last-minute notice. By this way, school performance will be affected. Not only that, teachers may ask to transfer to teach in other schools every year. And teachers are also burdened with the heavy and plenty of paperwork that they need to do. So, in this way, these are the issues from the education departments. We are going to look on another issues. There are leadership issues regarding teachers. Few problematic teachers who always take leave, are late to school, or try to shrink their responsibilities. These bad attitudes can create an unhealthy working environment and affect the students' learning process. Classroom management issues can be a problem, especially when there is no teacher in the class. This when students get bullied and accident happen, maybe the students fall down and there is no teacher supervision. And some of the teachers refuse to work overtime or bring students out for competitions during weekends because they think that this is not their responsibilities to do so. Leadership issues regarding parents because parents are lack of commitment to support the school activities. Parents always complain to the school over little things and sometimes over matters which is unrelated to the school. Not to mention they always compare their children with another children. This will affect the students academically and emotionally of being compared to other children. Sometimes parents also has an unreasonable demands from parents which disturb the smooth management of the school. The leadership issues regarding students are they are egoistic because they are being pampered by their parents. Most of the time, the parents pamper their children beyond any limits. There are mothers who won't even allow their children to fetch a glass of water for them. This can create an attitude which is mostly stubborn, attention seekers, and uncooperative in class. This can create discipline problems due to poor communication skills. Now we are going to look on an article titled Challenges Faced by Educational Leadership on Influencing Student Learning by Aurora 2013. In this article, it is stated that the managerial team in a school needs to have a good useful information in order to make practical decisions on how to use the available resources, how to attract new resources and means intended to enhance school ratings, school activities, as well as how to plan professional and educational development. Those principals who were appointed under previous regime have identified as measured challenges, achievements of new standards and expectations for successful leadership in influencing student learning. Standard sets for this curriculum content student achievement, so some essential factors identified by Joita 2000 that led to a successful school reform that would allow student learning improvement. Almost at the end of today's presentation, so just be patient a bit more. The management issues are communication and collaboration, classroom management, forecasting the academic achievement, and also collaborating on priority. Communication and collaboration. Apparently, there is no platform to provide seamless communication between students, administrators, staff, and teachers. Moreover, increasing student discipline incidents happen as a big result of communication gap between students and teachers. Web and mobile-based education management systems improves communication through instant notifications and alerts via email messages to keep informed at every step of the journey to build relationship and improve students' retention. Schools are finding it difficult to handle tardy students and solve indiscipline and behavior issues. Improve classroom environment with discipline tracking and behavior management system to easily handle tardy students and uninformed absence. For example, students are being absent early in the morning during assembly is because they are attending in other places, which is for example the shopping mall. Schools are unable to manage information and there are endless delays in taking decisions based on complete analysis. Dashboard reports and intelligent analytics are useful indicators for teachers to examine the attendance, assignments, grades, and not to mention can predict the students' outcomes. Using data analytics will help teachers to identify students at risk and develop resources to improve students' achievement and success. As far as the theory goes, most schools want their teachers to join forces with each other to create lessons, share various resources and ideas as well as experience in learning needs of the students. However, the truth of the matter is that most of the cases they do not really have the time to do so. The maximum break that teachers have between classes is between 20 minutes and at times it can be down to 5 minutes as well. It is a little time to have a meaningful discussion with the teacher's colleagues and such. There is where administrators need to think and focus on this issue. We are going to look on another article titled Issues and Challenges of Management Education in Malaysia. It is probably impossible to find a perfect management education program, and it is also probably impossible to find the best formula for efficient and effective management. Management effectiveness and quality of management education is a process of continuous improvement as quality is a journey and not a destination. In Malaysia, among the key issues and problems in the management education has been the ever-increasing number of institutes and schools offering undergraduate and postgraduate courses in management education. Not only that, it also states that managing a high school and bringing together departments and campuses to achieve the mission is always a big challenge for school management. Transforming school systems with high technology-enabled automation tools to support the academic and administrative processes will make it easy to achieve their goals. Therefore, to succeed in everyday tasks of schools, there is an emerging demand to modernize public education system with cloud, mobile, and digital technologies to improve operational efficiency and manage the institution effectively. So that's basically the summary on what is the article all about. This research is designed to measure the senior students at English language teaching departments about classroom management strategies, as well as the problems faced by pre-service teachers. And in this article, it stated that teachers try to create the most effective learning environment. Language class constitute a different aspect of teaching environment as language teaching requires employing different methodologies along with classroom management strategies. Thus, it is always a questionable with which strategies let teachers create the most effective learning environment for the students. Come the issues mentioned earlier. Encourage the teachers to attend training and learn new things whenever teachers are given the opportunity to interact with others. Positive thinking and providing social support within each other. Not to mention, providing in-house training and overseas training, for example, in Taiwan and China, is one of the appropriate strategies for improving teachers' performance. It is also useful to inspire teachers' thinking. In conclusion, implementation of effective educational leadership and teachers' development is an important aspect for both school and students. There are many attempts of improving the quality of education to meet the standards for school improvement. Therefore, to ensure the improvement of education system, all need to play their role in effective education. Now, school leadership. In conclusion, the leadership among the school leaders in Malaysia should also transform to new models for better improvement. The leaders should be changed from the traditional leadership to more effective leadership style to meet the challenges of the new generation, societal needs, and unexpected challenges.